Hello everyone. Am I audible? Please let me know if I'm audible. Okay. So on behalf of Intelletics Institute, I welcome you all, the 10th standard students, for solving up the MCQs in biology from the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division. As we all know, it's a bifurcated syllabus and much of the syllabus has been reduced. So these questions have been framed accordingly. So please keep on answering as I post up the questions. And if you have any doubts, surely you can ask me. That's never a problem. Keep studying. Here we start with question number one. Chromatin consists of dash. A. DNA. B. DNA and histones. C. Histones only. D. Nucleotides. Answer me for question number one. Chromatin consists of dash. Yes, the correct answer for this question is B. That is, chromatin consists of both DNA and histones. Coming to the next question number two. The term chromosome means dash. A. The threads that are twisted. B. Shining bodies. C. Inherited bodies. D. Colored bodies. So the term chromosome means dash. The term chromosome means dash. Is it that the threads that are twisted? B. Shining bodies. C. Inherited bodies. And D. Colored bodies. The correct answer for this question is D. Colored bodies. Friends, remember the word chromosomes comes from the main word chroma. Chroma means color. This is the reason, it was called as colored bodies or chromosomes because when the scientists first did try to observe the cell under a microscope, they couldn't see anything simply because the cells are colorless. So when they used up a stain there, the very first cell organelle that took up the stain and showed the color was this. Hence, the scientists had called it as chromosome. Chroma means color, soma matlab body. Coming to question number three, a cell division in which the number of chromosomes is halved can occur in dash. A. Somatic cells. B. Only cells in the testis. C. Only cells in the ovaries. D. Both ovaries and testis. So answer me for question number three. The answer for this question is D. The cell division in which the number of chromosomes is halved and it is reduced to half is in both ovaries and testes. As you know, these are the germ cells and they undergo meiosis. And in meiosis, one cell produces four daughter cells, all of which have half the number of chromosomes as that of the parental cell. And hence, meiosis is called as a reductional division. So keep this thing in mind as well. Coming to question number four, in which of the following options the stages of mitosis have been given in a correct sequence? A. Metaphase, anaphase, telophase, prophase. B. Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. C. Anaphase, telophase, prophase, metaphase. D. Telophase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase. So what should be the answer for question number 4? The perfect answer is B. The correct sequence is prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Okay, and this is the sequence you have to remember. Okay, you can't change up the sequence. Please remember this. Now, coming to the next question, number 5. The synthesis phase in the cell cycle is called so for the synthesis of more of dash. A. Glucose. B. RNA and proteins. C. DNA. D. RNA. What should be the answer for this? The synthesis phase, that is S phase, which is also at times called as the synthetic phase. If you remember, the interphase is divided into three phases, G1, S, and G2. So S phase involves more of synthesis of dash. Well, the correct answer for this question is DNA. DNA replicates in the S phase. Coming to the next question, number 6. The lengthwise repeating components of each DNA strand are dash. A. Nucleosides. B. Nucleotides. C. Phosphates. D. Sugars. The lengthwise repeating components of each DNA strand are dash. Well, the perfect answer for this question is B. Well, very good. Few students are answering it right. Very good. Those are called as nucleotides. See, the nucleotides that are present in DNA are called as deoxyribonucleotides. And the nucleotides which will be present in RNA are called as ribonucleotides. But bottom line, the nucleic acids are made up of nucleotides. Now, going further ahead, I would like to tell you that the nucleotide is a combination of nucleoside and phosphate. And the nucleoside is a combination of nitrogenous base plus sugar. The nitrogenous base could be either adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine in case of DNA, and in case of RNA, it could be adenine, guanine, cytosine, or uracil, because RNA does not contain thymine, instead it contains uracil, and DNA does not contain uracil, in place it contains thymine. Coming to the next question, number 7. The complex structure consisting of DNA strand and histone core is termed as dash. A. Inner core. B. Nucleotide. C. Nucleosome. D. Chromosome fiber. What should be the answer for this question? Well, the answer to this question is C. Nucleosome. Try to understand कि basically it is made up of proteins called as histones that are attached with the DNA, right? Now histones are of 5 types. Now this is going to be too high for you. It's just for your additional information. Okay. Histones are of 5 types. They are H1, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. But out of these, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4, 2 units of each of this come together to form an octamer, that is called as a histone octamer, around which the DNA takes up 1/3 turn and goes to the next one. Okay, so this histone octamer, it looks like a bead. And this bead-like structure of histone octamer on which the DNA takes 1/3/4 turn is called as nucleosome. Okay, so you can imagine it like a bead model. It is itself called as the bead and the string model, wherein the bead represents the nucleosome and the string represents the DNA strand. Coming to the next question, question number 8. The complementary nitrogen bases are bound by dash. A. Hydrogen bond. B. Nitrogen bond. C. Sulfur bond. D. Phosphate bond. Answer me. Complementary nitrogen bases. You know, this refers to the structure of the nucleic acid itself, in which there are complementary nitrogen bases. So the complementary nitrogen bases are bound by dash. Well, the perfect answer here is A, hydrogen bond. Friends, you're likely to be confused here. There are many students who would say it is nitrogen bond just because the question says complementary nitrogen bases. So many of the students are likely to go wrong here and answer that it is bounded by a nitrogen bond, but it is hydrogen bond. Please remember, adenine always binds with thymine by means of two weak hydrogen bonds, and cytosine always binds with guanine by three weak hydrogen bonds. Coming to the next question, question number 9. The nucleotide is made up of dash. A. Nitrogenous base. B. Pentose sugar. C. Phosphate group. D. All of these. Well, the answer for this question is D. Just now I told you that a nucleotide is nucleoside plus phosphate, and the nucleoside is nitrogenous base plus sugar. So the nucleotide is made up of the nitrogenous base, the sugar, as well as the phosphate group. The pentose sugar is called so because it has 5 carbon. Please remember, deoxyribose is a pentose sugar. Ribose is also a pentose sugar. It falls into the category of pentose sugar just because here the sugar is made up of 5 carbons. So pentose. Coming to the next question number 10. A cell X had undergone mitosis and a cell Y had undergone meiosis. How many cells would the two produce? A. X4Y4. B. X4Y2. C. X2Y4. D. X2Y2. So imagine there's a cell X that is undergoing mitosis. So how many cells will it produce? And imagine a cell Y that's undergoing meiosis. How many cells will it produce? The perfect answer for this question is C. Okay, because a cell, when it undergoes mitosis, it produces two daughter cells, and the cell that undergoes meiosis produces four daughter cells. So perfect answer for this question is C. Coming to the next question number 11. Match the events given in the column 1 with the phase in mitotic cell division in column 2. Here is the column. Column 1 is A says chromosomes become visible as fine long threads. B says chromosomes become arranged in a horizontal plane at the equator. C says chromosomes lose their distinctiveness and gradually become transformed into chromatin network. D says daughter chromosomes move to the opposite poles of a spindle. And in column 2, we have first telophase, second anaphase, third prophase, and fourth metaphase. And your options are A, in which we have A1, B2, C3, D4, B, A2, B3, C4, D1. Option C, in which A3, B4, C2, D1. And option D, A4, B1, C3, D2. So what should be the answer for this question number 11? You can have a look on the screen, read it carefully, and then answer. Well, the answer for this question is C. See, chromosomes become visible as fine, long threads. They become visible in prophase stage. So A has to be matched with 3. And then, of course, you get the right answer just when you're correct with 1. But never take a chance. At least, try to match 2 things in the column. B says chromosomes become arranged in a horizontal plane at the equator. So equator is the main hint there, and you should know when the chromosomes arrange at the equatorial plate, we call it as metaphase. So B has to be matched with metaphase, so B4. Then C, chromosomes lose their distinctiveness and get gradually become transformed into a chromatin network. So this happens in anaphase. Ideally, this is completed in telophase. So there is going to be slight confusion in your mind about these options. Then start trying out to solve up. D, daughter chromosomes move to the opposite poles of a spindle. So ideally, this should be uh, anaphase. So here again there is a slight confusion. So please remember A should be matched with 3, B should be matched with 4. Ideally C should be matched with 1 and D should be matched with 2. But since you have no options here, that's the real reason you go for the option C. But however, if you say the correct answer would be C to be matched with 1 and D to be matched with 2. Okay. Now, coming to the next question, number 12. The replication of DNA occurs in the dash phase of the cell cycle. A. Prophase. B. Synthetic phase. C. Metaphase. D. Anaphase. The replication of DNA. Either you call it as replication or you call it as duplication. It's one and the same. When does the replication of DNA take place in the cell cycle? The answer to this question is B, synthetic phase. That is S phase of the interphase. Coming to the next question, number 13. Meiosis occurs in dash. A, somatic cells only. B, germ cells only. C, both somatic and germ cells. D, somatic in young stages and germ in old stages. Well, the answer for this question is B. Meiosis occurs in germ cells only. Germ cells, these are the cells that are present in the gonads, that is testis in the males and ovaries in the females. Coming to the next question, number 14. The number of chromosomes in the human egg and sperm is dash. A. 2346. B. 4646. C. 4623. D. 2323. Well, the answer for this question has to be D. That is, the number of chromosomes in the human egg and sperm is 2323 each. Please remember, gametes universally are haploid. So when I say universally, that means the gametes all over the world, that is in plants as well as animals, gametes are always haploid. ओके हैप्लॉइड का मतलब क्या होता है कि it simply means that it has half the number of chromosomes as that of the parent cell. Now we all are aware that we have 46 chromosomes in each and every cell, so half of that is going to be 23. The human egg and the sperm will have 23 chromosomes each. Coming to the next question, number 15. The rungs of the DNA ladder are made up of dash. A. Phosphate group. B. Nitrogenous bases. C. Pentose sugar, D. All of these. Well, I will like to give you a hint here. The rungs of the DNA ladder, the DNA structure, the DNA molecule can be compared to that of a ladder. Now, when you imagine up a ladder, you climb up the steps which are connected by two sticks, right? So the steps there, in simple words, are nothing but the rungs. So the rungs of the DNA ladder are made up of dash. And the perfect answer is nitrogenous bases. The rungs of the DNA ladder are made up of nitrogenous bases, whereas the sides are made up of sugars and phosphate groups. Question number 16. Which of the following statements are not correct? Not correct मतलब आपको ढूंढना है wrong statement. A. The four nitrogenous bases in DNA are guanine, cytosine, thymine, and adrenaline. B. Genes are specific sequences of bases on a chromosome. C. A nucleotide is composed of a pentose sugar, nitrogenous base, and a sulfate group. D. All of the above. Now, I don't know whether I should give you a hint here or not. Okay, first you solve and then I shall talk about it. Well, the answer for this question is D. All of the above. None of these statements are correct. A question says are not correct. Not correct, matlab wrong. So all of these are not correct, right? So option A is wrong. Why? The four nitrogenous bases in DNA are guanine, cytosine, thymine, and adrenaline. That's the wrong statement because it's not adrenaline, but it is adenine. Okay, A stands for adenine and not adrenaline. The option B says genes are specific sequence of bases on a chromosome. That's not correct. The reason is genes are specific sequences of nucleotides on a chromosome. Because bases, it is not specified which bases. So this is a wrong statement. Then option C says a nucleotide is composed of pentose sugar, nitrogenous base, and a sulfate group. It's never a sulfate group, it's a phosphate group. So none of these are correct. So which of the following statements are not correct, yani wrong? So all of these are the wrong statements. Now coming to question number 17, which of the following statements are not true? That is wrong statement. A. DNA is made up of deoxyribonucleotides, whereas RNA is made up of ribonucleotides. B. Nucleosomes are groups of cysteine molecules surrounded by DNA strands. C. If there are 46 chromosomes in a cell, there will be 23 chromatin fibers inside the nucleus during interphase. D. Both B and C. So answer me for question number 17. Well, the answer for this question number 17 is D, both B and C. Please understand, nucleosomes are not groups of cysteine molecules. They are groups of histone molecules and not cysteine molecules. So that's a wrong statement or not correct statement. And option C says if there are 46 chromosomes in a cell, there will be 23 chromatin fibers. That's wrong. There would be 46 chromatin fibers itself. Okay, so your answer is both B and C. They are not correct statements. Coming to the next question, number 18. The region near the nucleus in which the centrioles are located is dash. A. Centromere. B. Centrosome. C. Kinetochore. D. Chromocenter. So answer me for question number 18. Answer me for question number 18. Well, the answer for question number 18 is B. Centrosome. Please remember centrioles are two cylindrical structures present at right angles to each other near the nucleus only in an animal cell and lower plant cells. They are absent in higher plants. The cell division that involves centriole is called as centric cell division, and the cell division that does not have a centriole is called as acentric cell division. Okay, coming to the next question number 19. The point of attachment of two chromatids is known as dash. A. Centriole. B. Centrosome. C. Centromere. D. None of these. Well, the answer for this is C, that is centromere. It is a centromere that connects the two chromatids with each other. Friends, I should like to tell you one more thing over here. Many a times in few books we read it as centromere, also called as kinetochore. But there is a difference between centromere and kinetochore. Centromere connects the two sister chromatids with each other, and this centromere is covered by a region that is called as kinetochore, to which the spindle fibers attach. So ideally, centromere is not same as that of kinetochore. Please keep this in mind. Coming to the next question number 20. The radiating fibers given out by the centriole at the pole are dash. A. Spindle fibers. B. Astral rays. C. Interpolar fibers. D. Interzonal fibers. The clue is in the question itself. The radiating fibers given out by the centriole at the pole. Well, the answer for this question is astral rays, also called as astral fibers. Friends, please remember they're called as astral rays because it resembles that of the astral bodies which give out the light and it radiates in different directions. So these fibers are called as astral rays or astral fibers, and these are given out towards the periphery of the cell, that is from the centriole towards the cell membrane, whereas the spindle fibers are given out towards the center of the cell. So this is how the astral rays and the spindle rays or the spindle fibers are different from each other. Now coming to the next question number 21. Meiosis is also called as dash. A. Equational division. B. Reductional division. C. Germ cell division. D. Both of these, that is B and C. Well, the perfect answer is D, that is both B and C. It is either called as reductional division or germ cell division. Remember, meiosis is essential for the formation of gametes, which in turn is essential for sexual reproduction. Okay, so meiosis has an important role to play in sexual reproduction. Coming to the next question, number 22. The first meiotic division is dash. A. Equational. B. Reductional. C. Heterotypic. D. Both B and C. The first meiotic division is dash. Answer me for question number 22. The answer is D, that is both B and C. Remember, in meiosis, the nucleus divides twice. So we have meiosis 1 and we have meiosis 2. In meiosis 1, the actual reductional division takes place. The diploid cell produces two haploid cells, and these two cells are different from each other. So it's called as heterotypic cell division. Whereas meiosis 2 is same as that of mitosis, in which the two daughter cells that have been produced in meiosis 1, which are haploid, they undergo meiosis 2 to produce two daughter cells each. Okay, so altogether, as a result of meiosis, one diploid cell produces four haploid cells. Now, coming to the next question, number 23. Which of the following statements are not false? Not false, that is true. A. As you grow from childhood to adulthood, your skin cells divide only to replace such cells that are lost from the surface. B. The unfertilized human egg has half the number of chromosomes. C. Nuclear membrane in a mitotically dividing cell remains intact up to the metaphase and disappears only in the telophase. D. Chromosomes are visible even in an unstained dividing cell. And your options are, your answer is, I'm so sorry, I was slightly, fast enough in clicking it up. Not false, that is a true statement. Try to understand this. The option A says, as you grow from childhood to adulthood, your skin cells divide only to replace such cells that are lost from the surface. So that's a mistake. It's not a true statement. The reason is surface skin cells are continuously lost and replaced by the underlying cells. Okay, now the option B is definitely a correct statement. The unfertilized human egg, that is a gamete, always has half the number of chromosomes, that is 23. So that's a correct statement. Now, option C says the nuclear membrane in a mitotically dividing cell remains intact up to the metaphase and disappears only in the telophase. That's a wrong statement because the nuclear membrane disappears in the prophase itself and it reappears in the telophase. So, option C is also a wrong statement. Okay, then option D says chromosomes are visible even in an unstained dividing cell. So that's wrong. Chromosomes become visible only after staining the cell nucleus. And for your kind information, the chromosomes, if you need to study their structure in detail, so we have to study the metaphase stage, because in this particular stage, the chromosomes become more distinct and more completely visible. So friends, please keep this in mind. Coming to the next question, number 24. Which of the following statements are not true, that is false? A. Mitotic cell division can be a mode of reproduction. B. Crossing over between chromatids can occur only between homologous chromosomes. C. DNA is present only in the nucleus. D. The complex of DNA and proteins is called as chromatin. So, which of these statements is not true, that is false? Well, The answer for this question is C. This is a not true, that is false statement. Let's understand. Option A says mitotic cell division can be a mode of reproduction. That's a true statement applicable for unicellular organisms. Option B says crossing over between chromatids can occur only between homologous chromosomes. So that is correct. This happens during a stage called as packaging in prophase 1 of meiosis. Option C says DNA is present only in the nucleus. That's not true because DNA molecules are also found in the mitochondria and in the chloroplast. And option D says the complex of DNA and proteins is called as chromatin. That's perfect statement. Now coming to the next question number 25. Centrioles move apart and reach the opposite poles in the dash. A. G1 phase, B. Prophase, C. Metaphase, D. G2 phase. Answer me for question number 25. Well, the answer for this question is B. Prophase. The centrioles, they start moving away from each other in the early prophase, and in the late prophase they reach the opposite poles. Either I can say it is late prophase or early metaphase. Okay, now coming to the next question number 26. The duplication of DNA occurs in the dash phase. Quite a repeated question, you can say. A. Prophase, B. Interphase, C. Anaphase, D. Telophase. What should be the answer for question number 26? Well, the correct answer is B. Interphase. That is S phase of interphase. It's quite a repeated question, as I said. Coming to the next question number 27. Name the cell organelle that forms the aster. A. Nucleus, B. Astral body, C. Centriole, D. Spindle apparatus. Name the cell organelle that forms the aster. Well, the answer for this question is C. It is centriole, which produces the astral rays or aster. Please remember, as I have already mentioned, centrioles are present only in an animal cell and lower plants. The cell division that involves centriole is called a centric, and the cell division which does not involve centriole is called as acentric. Now, once again, please remember, even though when the centriole is present, it is not necessary that aster must be formed. It may or may not be formed. If the astral rays are formed, it is called as astral mitosis, and if the aster is not formed, it is called as anastral mitosis. Coming to the next, question number 28. How is interphase important? A. It helps the cell to rest. B. It helps the cell to die. C. It allows the cell to grow and mature before it is able to reproduce. D. It helps the cell to replicate. Quite an easier question. Well, the answer for this question is C. The interphase is important because it helps the cell to grow and mature before it is able to reproduce. In fact, this is the phase in which the cell prepares itself for the cell division. Interphase is followed by karyokinesis, that is the division of the nucleus. And once karyokinesis is completed, it is followed by cytokinesis, that is division of the cytoplasm. Coming to the next question, number 29. Which cell division helps in the formation of ova? A. Mitosis. B. Meiosis. C. Binary fission. D. Amitosis. Again, quite an easier question to solve. Well, the answer for this question is B. Meiosis. It is meiosis that helps in the formation of ova. Coming to the next and the last question for today's session, question number 30. In dash phase, the chromatids separate from each other at the centromere and start moving away from each other. A. Prophase. B. Metaphase. C. Anaphase. D. Telophase. So, in which phase the chromatids separate from each other and at the centromere region and start moving away from each other? Well, the answer for this question is C. Anaphase. So it is the anaphase in which the chromatids they separate from each other at the centromere and start moving away from each other. So friends, this was the last question in this session. Okay, we can take many more MCQs on this chapter. Okay, I have planned up for 150 MCQs now. It depends on you how much you want to take up. So if we divide it into 30 questions per session, of which we have completed the first one, there are 4 more sessions to go on this chapter, and this will be followed by some other chapter, maybe some other subject as well. If you have anything, any demand or any request to make, kindly do it in the comment section. We definitely will try to cater to what you need, and this has always been a motto of Intelletics to help the students. So please keep in touch, share a word about us, and keep attending the live sessions so that if you have any doubts, so that would be definitely cleared up at the same moment. Thank you so much for attending up the session. Bye. See you all. And for the next uh, video or the next session, please hit the bell icon along with subscribing up to the channel if you're new to it. Once you hit the bell icon, you will certainly get to know when the next live stream session will be definitely started. Okay, so please ensure that you're with us. Thank you so much.